Guru, everyone. So we will continue from where we are left. We are doing chapter 10, the infinite opulences of God, or Vibhuti Yoga. Continue from there. I am a little under the weather, so I request Sumangladi to chant for us. We have finished till 24. If Didi can chant from 19th, 9th, yeah, I'll tell you from where to where, Didi. 19th to, yeah, 19th to, you can chant till 25. 25.
Okay. श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्तते कथयिष्यामि दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठा नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे अहमात्मा बुडाकेश सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुदामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतरा रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेशो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चामि मेरुः शिखरिणामहम् दीदी till
Yeah, another two you can chant.
पुरोतसां च मुख्यां मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्यैकमक्षरं यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः.
Thank you. So let us look through this. Thank you so much, Dini. Again, I'll request you to chant. My voice is gone a little bit. Others like that, no? Okay, so we look at the 10th chapter. This is a beautiful chapter where Lord speaks about his glories. There is no other scripture in this world where Brahma himself has spoken. Brahma himself has spoken about his glories. Yes, there are scriptures where Brahma has spoken in the Bible and all. But there are no scriptures where Brahma has spoken about his glories to such an extent, such an elaborate extent, that makes the Gita very unique. Very unique. And India had the great good fortune of having hosted Lord in his Purna avatar, Lord Krishna. So we have seen in the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, Vishishta Utbhavas of Lord, Vishishta, or something with special creations of Lord. You and I are also Lord's creation, but there are some beings who are very special, extremely special. And those beings Lord is described. Typically, all these beings are the upholders of this universe. They're like the board of directors, the senior vice presidents of this world. And whether we like it or not, whether others believe it or not, this is the truth. Like Guruji Paramahansa Yogananda says, but for want of a pin, the universe collapse. So basically, God does not depend on man's belief or not. Whether you believe in God or you're an atheist, God doesn't care. It doesn't matter for God. Because we are Trinamatra. We are just like that little ant which is crawling on the face of earth. The billions of creations and billions of beings, even much more powerful than humans and even the devas. So the Shankaras, the Rudras. The Rudras are typically in Shiva Purana considered as the 11 manifestations of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the fundamental Vairagi form of Parabrahma, who doesn't want to do anything with this world, just roams around. Doesn't want to be the king. It doesn't want to be known. It's just there. It doesn't want to have opulence, gold and silver and nothing. He just is in total freedom. Brahma has created this world, right? So it doesn't matter. He can come and roam how he wants. So that's Lord Shiva. Mahavishnu, who is also called Narayana. Narayana and Mahavishnu are actually separate in explanation. Mahavishnu is supposed to be the upholder of the universe. Upholder of the universe. He's part of the Adityas. Now, Aditya are shining beings. These are also forces in nature who are upholding this entire creation. So now out of that, Mahavishnu is one of them. Nara is water and Ayana is movement. So anything that caused the movement is Narayana. So that part of Brahma is the original Brahma. When you say Narayana, you're calling on to Brahma in that original fundamental formation. That Sat Parabrahma. That's the word Narayana. Bhagavan Vishnu Mahavishnu becomes the upholder of the universe. Again, a form of Narayana only. So people generally equate the two forms, which is fine. We have also given it an iconography. There is a symbol and there is a form we see, but that is metaphorical. That he's sitting on ocean waters. That does not really mean exactly that he's sitting on ocean waters. Maybe there also, but it also has a deeper significance. Waters means prana. Prana is waters. That's how in the Bible also. Wherever water is mentioned, it's prana. Okay, so Lord here, such powerful Brahma, He's created such powerful beings. So here he says, I will tell you again, you are my Priyamanaya, that's why I will tell you. Arjuna is a very pure soul. He's been a Vairagi, he's been a sannyasi. He's desired Brahma above all else for many lives. So only in this life he's come as a Yodha. But then otherwise he's been a sannyasi. So then Lord says, Aham Adir Hi Devanam Maharshinam Cha Sarvasha. I am the creator of all the devas and maharshis also. It doesn't even include humans there. So these are the higher beings. So it says that since I have created, they don't know me. I am Ajam Anadim. I am without creation in the sense I was unborn. I was fundamentally existing. The Ishvara of the entire universe. Lord says that any wisdom, any knowledge, forgiveness, love, truth, self-control, sukha, dukkha, bhava, abhava, poverty and richness, success, bhaya cha, abhaya, ahimsa, samata, tushti, tapodanam, misho, yasha, bhavanti bhava bhutanam, matta eva pratagvida. These are all my bhavas, good, bad, ugly. Everything is coming from me. So the more one connects to Brahma, the more opulent he becomes, as he desires. If the soul has desired wealth and success, that comes to him. If the soul has desired wisdom and self-realization, that comes to him. So connecting the mobile to the socket, as simple as that. Pori is the mobile and that is the socket. Then Lord talks about the Saptarshis, Maharshya Saptapurve, Chatvaro Manu, the 14 Manus, who are the progenitors of the cycles of Brahma. Progenitors are who go on to create beings. Madhava Manasa Jata, from the mind born, the 4 sons of Brahma, fundamental. And all these beings, cats, dogs, dinosaurs, animals, fishes, humans, all included. So he's including us there. So we have a long way to go. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo vetti tattvata. If you know me, vetti tattvata again, in essence, you unite with me. So there's something very interesting. So there is something like we have the 5 senses, right? When we look at the 5, look at something, when you hear something, you can grasp something. Shabdhartha Jnananupati, it is called. So you will see whatever that Shabda you hear, you see, Drishta, Anushravika Vishaya. So what you hear and see and touch and feel. These are things which come with words. For example, when I say the word eagle, instantly your mind will create an eagle in your mind. Where is it coming from? From your memory, smriti. Your smriti in your childhood had learned that an eagle looks like this, and it is connoted with the word called eagle, eagle. So instantly, shabda artha jnana anupati comes. You understand the meaning based on your memory and a sensory perception that you gained some time back. There is a higher consciousness, which is called the sixth sense, which is called intuition. So it's reflective consciousness, something that is coming from the soul, a higher awareness. Yeah. So that is Vetti Tattvata. So if you want to know Brahma, you need to go to that level of awareness and understand him. That's what Lord keeps saying the word Vetti. Vetti is to know, Tattvata is essence. So we've discussed this. I'm just reiterating. So avikampena yogena yujyatena atra samshaya. By practicing yoga, you can learn me, learn about me. Avikampena, without wavering, you should practice. Without changing your mind. It's not only yoga day. Every day is yoga day. Every activity, knowingly or unknowingly, we do is to go towards Brahma. So even if we are doing a laukika activity, a worldly activity, maukika activity, even speech, anything is to go to Brahma only. Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam prabhava. I am the beginning, from me everything starts. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanya. Knowing this truth, intelligent people look only towards me. Machita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. Speaking to each other, wanting to learn about me. Katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charam. Their joy and pleasure is coming from knowing about me. This is a typical state of a bhakta. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. I observe and I see that they are worshipping me. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayantite. I give them buddhi yoga, wisdom, that they come very fast to me. Teshameva anukampartam, compassion filled I am. Aham ajnanajam tam, I remove their tamas. Nashayamya atma bhavastah jnana deepena bhasvata. I bring out the jnana deepa which is in their soul. So Lord is very close. When people go to a guru, when they find their guru ultimately in life, they say it's the last life when they find the guru on earth. So, so like Adi Shankara says, there are three very important things to get in life. That is a human life. The second one is a desire, incessant desire to find God, a seeking mentality. And third is finding a guru. If this has happened, your life is complete on earth. Not a very, very fascinating place to be, right? So even if this life is all fascinating and hunky-dory, we don't know what our Sanchita holds. So the next life, we might be one of the, people in the Boeing crash. So we don't want that. So we have to get out of samsara mrityu dukkha sagara. Get out of this place. So that's why we need a guru. So when the guru comes, everything is wiped out. All karmas are wiped out. And opulence comes and your life's goal starts shining in front of you. This is told to us, right? So it's a very interesting story today that I came across. I put it there in Angels. So apparently, when Arjuna, Krishna went to Duryodhana asking for intermediary. As an intermediary, he went for 5 villages, right? Duryodhana was least bothered and he was a bit confused also. Shakuni obviously told him, don't listen to Krishna, don't give anything. So then apparently Dhritarashtra, the father, was a bit worried because Krishna is not an ordinary soul. Although he was blind, he could sense it because he had experience. Otherwise, it's not easy to understand that there's a great soul in front of me. So he had some good karma he could recognize. So he said, let us ask the astrologer. So the astrologer was called, you would have had powerful astrologers, it seems, in those times. So this astrologer came about and he saw the chart of Duryodhana, which said he's got Raja Yoga. So Raja Yoga is that time when everything, opulence, everything, you're successful in everything, in your life and everything. Everyone gets Raja Yoga for some time. Some people get long Raja Yoga, some short, depending on what karma the soul is brought to this life. So, apparently, when that happened, he was very thrilled, Duryodhana. He said, and the astrologer said, "You can go, nobody can defeat you." And they told Krishna, Krishna was smiling, and they told Krishna, "No, we're not going to give the place, Duryodhana, and even 5 villages. You go, we're going to call for war." And Krishna said, "Is this your final, yeah, he says, yeah. He goes back. Apparently, 10 days into the war, they are losing heavily. The Kauravas are losing heavily. And what happens is, Dhritarashtra is very worried because 10th day is when he comes and tells him the story, right? The Gita starts that day. Then Kimakurvata Sanjaya, he asks. So now he calls the astrologer again. He said, "What is this nonsense? You said my son is going to win. And, any war, and we have such a big Sainya. What happened? You said it's Raja Yoga and nobody can stand against my son." He said, "Okay, get the charts." So he brings the charts, and the astrologer looks at the chart and looks and looks, and he's gaping at the charts, and he says, "Lord, I don't know what happened, but there is some being who's Kalatit on the war field, who's beyond, time and causation and beyond space, who is existing right there. Is he the guru of the Pandavas?" So apparently, with the existence of the gurus, the chart had changed. He says now Duryodhana's chart doesn't look like Raj Yoga anymore. Everything has changed. The heavens, the times, and everything. So for Lord Krishna, this is nothing. When the guru is in your life, he can play with the stars. That's why Guruji writes that beautiful story, Outwitting the Stars, how to outwit the stars. You go into the surrender of Lord, and no stars can dismantle you from whatever position you are. So that is how. So that powerful, he says, Krishna Lord is. So then can't he give us self-realization? Yes, chutki bajake he can give us self-realization. All this Gita, the 4 Vedas and the Sankhya, the Karikas, Upanishads, everything he can give it chutki bajake. That's why we need only surrender. Nashayamya atma bhavastaha. I can instantly give it to you. Jnana deepena bhasvata. Krishna says that. Instantly he can give. So Arjuna realizes now that he's a little small fry standing in front of a colossal being who is beyond description. He says, Brahma, you are Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam, Vibhum, Ahustam, Rishayas Sarve, all the rishis, Devarshi, Narada Tata, Asito, Devalo, Vyasa, Swayam, Jaiva, Bravishima, all of them have described, and I didn't listen, perhaps. We didn't listen. There are so many scriptures written there. We don't have the time. When we are enjoying in our youth and with our children and family, we don't have the time to go to these scriptures. But now Arjuna is so happy. Gadgada, he's filled with love and joy. He's so happy. Lord is speaking himself. Sarvameta dhritam manye. Whatever you're saying is dhritam. Yanmam vadasi Keshava, O Keshava, whatever you're saying. Nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur devanadana. Devas and Danavas are greater than humans, and they also do not understand you. Swayameva vetatvam purushottama. You yourself know yourself in your Atma. Bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. The Father and Creator and the God of the gods, the universal Lord. Bhaktumarhasya asheshena divya hyatma vibhutaya. Without leaving a single one, if you talk all day, I will listen. That is a great Bhakta's lakshana. Yabir vibhutir bhirloka nimastvam vyapyatishtasya. With your vibhutis, what all have you created? How have you created this universe? A seeker starts only as a physicist or a science student initially. The science students look for answers, right? So through chemistry, physics, and cutting open the human body in biology, they try to understand. So, but that is the nascent stage. The seeker goes into very high states. Vibhutir loka nimastvam vyapyatishtasi. One who is expanded and occupying the billions and billions of galaxies and universes. Vyapyatishtasi. Katam vidyamaham yogin tvam sada parichintayan. Lord says, Arjuna says, you're the greatest of the yogi. How will I know you? Sada parichintayan. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintayosmi bhagavan maya. How in what all forms can I worship you? How will I know you, O my Lord? Vistarena atmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana. Explain this to me. Bhuyakkataya triptirhi shrinato na asti me amritam. This is amrita. We don't really have anything to do on earth. We've come here as a hotel stay for 70, 80 years max. After that, even the time given is a waste because we can't move our legs and limbs and hands. We've forgotten everything. What is the use? So, in that hotel stay of 8 decades or 9 decades, what is the point if we don't spend listening to this Amrita? Kataya triptehe. You should get into that state. We should get into that state where we want only that, and all else looks useless in front of that. Sri Bhagavan says, Hantate katayishyami divya hi atma vibhute. Yes, I'll tell you. Wait. Pradhanyata Kurusheshta, only the important ones. Na asti anta vistarasya me. There's no end to these, na? How can I explain in words to you? Ahamatma Gudakesha. O Gudakesha, one who's conquered sleep. I am the Atma, Sarva Bhutashayastitaha. Sitting inside the Bhutas, I am in their heart. Ahamadischa Madhyam cha Bhutanam Anta evacha. Adi Madhya Anta. Beginning, middle, and end is Brahma. Very interesting. That day in the discussions later on, Nilimadi brought out a very beautiful story, right? I was thinking we will discuss that loudly. Paramahansa Yogananda mentions this. He says, how does Lord say, I am Adischa, Madhyamcha, Antam? See, Lord says that, there is nothing happening, just like suppose you're sleeping and dreaming. In the dream, your consciousness becomes the world, your consciousness travels, you become the observer. There are so many beings. You see your mother, father, your family, your children, you feel animals and plants, and perhaps you do space travel, you do go beyond galaxies. You do everything in your mind, but when you wake up, everything poof gone. So what was happening throughout the entire world was created only in your consciousness. So Paramahansa Yogananda gives this metaphor which is very beautiful to understand Lord's creation. He says, Bhagavan Vishnu is in Yoga Nidra. Narayana is sleeping on the water of creation. What does it mean? In the DP there, that profile of mine is also the same picture. So Brahma is lying down there and he's dreaming. In his dream, we all exist. Apart, we are, that's why we are the reflected consciousness of Brahma. We are not even the real consciousness of Brahma. Reflected consciousness. And he is the observer. He observes us through what we're doing. Brilliant creation, right? And at self-realization, we merge back in him. But we still continue to remember and we watch with him the entire creation. So obviously, when we are the reflection of his consciousness, we are the Adi, Madhya, and Anta, right? Makes sense. Yeah. And Lord says, Adityanam aham Vishnu. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. And Jyotisham Ravi Ramshaman. Of the Jyotish, I am Ravi. Amshaman is the shining one. Marichir Marudam Asmi. Of the Marichis, I am Marichi. Amongst the Marichi is the name of apparently Vayudeva. Of the Marut. Maruts are the upholders of Prana Shakti in the entire universe, including externally as well as internally in the human body. Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. So again, Lord is talking with respect to earth because that is what our limited consciousness understands. This is, amongst the stars, I am the Shashi. Shashi means moon. Vedanam Samavedo Asmi. I am Samaveda. Devanam Asmi Vasavaha. Vasava is Indra's name. The king of Devas. Indra is a title. Like president means Indra. So there have been 100 Indras who will come and go. Present Indra is Vasava. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. Mind, I am amongst the Indriyas. Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. Amongst the beings, I am consciousness itself, consciousness, Chetana, Chaitanya Shakti, that which makes every other faculty like mana, buddhi, aham, chitta, and human body and prana, everything work. Consciousness is the ruler. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi of the Rudras, 11 Rudras. So I am Shankara. With Tesho Yaksha Rakshasam. Out of the distributors of wealth, who are the Yakshas and Rakshasas take care of wealth and success and all those. Like we do worship them. They're also higher beings. So I am Vittesha. Vittesha is Kubera. Then Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikarinamaham. Amongst the Vasus, Vasus are again some kind of beings who are upholding this universe. So there are so many titles, right? So you have the cabinet ministers, you have the MLAs, you have the MPs. So you need a lot of people also help Lord in taking care of this. Gurudev Paramahansa says that when you have finished your work on earth and you have perhaps got your moksha, self-realization, you become a Jivan Mukta or not, doesn't really matter. If you finished your karmic duties here, if you move into the higher spheres, the celestial spheres, then you will be given a role and title which is commensurate to your work on earth. So you've been a teacher here, you'll be a teacher there. When you've finished works here, otherwise you go for just jolly ride, vacation, and then come back to earth, rather fall back to earth. But when you've finished your works here, Kritanta karma you've done, all end of all karmas, then you're given works there. So fascinating works come. So you have been an administrator of people, you'll be an administrator of devas and perhaps some kind of elements there. So these are very interesting truths. So nobody dies actually. Meru Shikari Namaham. Of the Shikaras, I am Meru. Purodasam cha mukyam mam vidya partha brahaspati. Purodasas are the people who do the priesting, the people who head the yajnas. I am Brahaspati. Partha Brahaspati is the guru of the devas. You all know that. Senani Namaham Skandaha. Skanda, Lord Shiva's son, who is the head of the chief of army staff. Army, navy, everything is there, one only. For the devas, army, navy, and what is the other one? Air Force. He is Skanda. Kartikeya is the head. Sarasamasmi Sagara. Large expanse of water. I'm the ocean. Maharshinam Briguraham Giramasmaikam Aksharam. Yajnanam Japayajnosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. Amongst the great Maharshis, I am Bhrigu. Bhrigu Maharshi is supposed to be the greatest, right? So even when they had to test the three Trimurtis, Bhrigu was sent, isn't it? He had to go and test Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So he is the greatest Maharshi. So Lord says, I am Bhrigu himself. Bhrigu Maharshi also, besides being one of the Saptarshis, I guess he is the one who has created the Nadi Shastra. It's a very fascinating Shastra, right? It's from the Bhrigu Samhita. So where he has described that all the beings in the entire creation, basically there is a replication of your story. So just like, they're saying 2025 looks like 1941, beings are also replicated. Their stories are replicated. So the Nadi Shastra apparently tells you your entire story. So Lord Bhrigu found a kind of a geometrical or mathematical similarity between this through his yoga maya, through his yoga power only. And that is nowadays considered as Nadi Shastra. Wherever you go, they will remove your Nadi and then they will tell you that Patra, it is written your story. Like, what were you in your past life? Like, suppose today you were something, your past, you might have been only that only. You would have been that. So, suppose, giving an example, if you were a shopkeeper in this life, next life you will be a supermarket owner. Giving an example. And so, all the shopkeepers will have the same. All the supermarket owners will have been a shopkeeper. So, there's some kind of logic there. Bhrigu Maharshi found. So, he's a great Rishi. He's found the Brahma's plan for every soul. So you'll get it. All the beings, Shastra is there. Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Amongst all the yajnas, I am japa yajna. So, constant remembrance of God is japa. So, remembering Brahma all the time keeps our mind all the time there, and at that it becomes very easy to remember the Lord. So, I am one who attained this japa yajna. I am the japa yajna myself. Stavaranam Himalaya. Of the eternally existing one, I am Himalaya. So, Mangaladi, can you chant from 26 to 36?
Okay. Jai Guru. Ashwattha sarvavrikshanam devarshinaam cha naradaha गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः उच्चैः सर्वसमश्वानां विद्धि माम् अमृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नाराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनस्तामस्मि गन्धर्वः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः अनन्दश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं ऋतूनामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमदामहं प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयदामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनदेयश्च पक्षिणाम्. Is it okay?
Didi, till another 5 you chant. 36 you can do.
Okay. पवन पवदामस्मि रामः शस्त्रप्रदामहं शशाणां मकरश्चास्मि स्रोतसामस्मि जाह्नवी सर्गाणामादिरन्दश्च मध्यं चैवाहमर्जुन अध्यात्मविद्या विद्यानां वादः प्रवददामहम् अक्षराणाम् अकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वः सामासिकस्य च अहमेवाक्षयकालो तादाहं विश्वतो मुख मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिश्रीवाक्च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिक्षमा बृहत्साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमागरः. Okay.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. The Lord is continuing his great manifestations. Out of that, he says, these are very simple to understand intellectually, but really, really difficult to comprehend. Gurudev Paramahansa says that all these words have deeper metaphorical significance. So he's not only, Lord Krishna is not naming only a word, but it also has some symbolic meaning inside your body. Similarly, there is a macrocosmic meaning in the universe of all these words. Now we cannot understand these levels because that has to be realized. That can come to only Brahmajnanis. So, but then we still can understand the words and the word meanings. Lord says, Ashwatha Sarvavrikshanam. The Ashwatha tree is supposed to be sacred, we all know it. So, I am the Sarvavrikshanam, I am the Ashwatha, people tree. So, and one more thing why the people tree is important is that it is never ending, it's eternal, right? It shoots, its roots come down and it keeps proliferating. So to that extent, you can say a part of even if you cut off the main tree after a few years, 50, 60 years, the tree continues to survive because the roots are aerial roots. They continue to expand and it proliferates. The Lord is eternal like that. Devarshinam cha Narada. Amongst the Devarshis, I am Narada. Gandharvanam Chitraratha. Chitraratha is the guru of all the Gandharvas. You know about his story, I'm sure. When Arjuna went to the celestial spheres, Arjuna is half portion of Indra, right? So, so when Arjuna goes there for 5 years to live with his father in Devaloka, so he was very enamored by dance and music. Soft-hearted, no? So he likes dance and music a lot. So Indra tells his who this one's the guru of the Gandharvas, Chitraratha, to teach Arjuna dance and music. Arjuna becomes proficient in complete dance and complete music. So he's not doing it whole day whenever he's free, but still he's so smart he becomes proficient. Other times he's fighting wars for his father. He fights, I think, the Nivata Kavachas and all those kinds of beings. Another set of, I forget, set of Rakshasas. Apparently these Rakshasas are from the lower spheres, the Atala, Sutala, Talatala and all. These beings are from there. So they are fighting. Fighting Indra and Devas all the time, and Arjuna fought them and killed them literally, lakhs of them. So Ashwata Sarvarakshanam, Devarshinam, Chitraratha. Now you know we've been introduced to Chitraratha. Gandharvas are supposed to be beautiful, beautiful beings, extremely beautiful beings. And Apsaras and Gandharvas were created together. They're all Ionijas, created like from the mind. Gurudev explains in the 42nd chapter that in the celestial spheres, nobody is born from direct womb, but although you can plan to have a child, but nobody takes the trouble of going through. You can create a mind in your mind. You can think of visualize all the requirements that you want to have in your child, and look at the existing souls and invite that soul into your family. There are no hard and fast families, but people live together in groups, soul groups. So the same soul groups come as families on earth, or friends, best friends, or even enemies are part of the same soul group. They come to teach us lessons. So in the soul group, one person, one cousin will tell you, okay, I'm going to trouble you so much, so much. I will hurl abuses at you. And from that, you will learn to overcome your anger, vengeful nature, or frustration. Is that okay? So, this is the kind of pacts we have when we come with a soul group. So, we want to learn something, we'll tell them to do this to us. So, this is the soul group. Okay, this is coming back. Chitraratha, that is how Gandharvas are. They are all together in a group. Apsaras dance, Gandharvas sing, Gandharvas also dance. Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. Of the Siddhas, why do they dance? Why is it so important? Gandharvas and Apsaras? Because Devas are Bhogayonis. They don't have work. You may say that, okay, managing the entire universe is their work. Yes, that happens in a fraction of a second. Once they put the laws in place, once they put mentally, they put those energies and keep it in place, it functions naturally. It doesn't have to, Gurudev Paramahansa has told this. You don't have to bend your back. Devas don't have to be there all the time, go to work. They can do whatever they want. It just has some kind of mental power to be used, which happens very quickly. So the rest of the times they are dancing and singing and merrymaking. Gandharvanam, and that's a Gandharvas. They're also celestial beings, you see. Lord then says Siddhanam. Siddhas are perfected beings, Kapilo Muni. Uchaye Shrama Samashvanam. Now, in ancient texts, in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, for example, they talk about creation. In that Purana, they say that, how the mountains came about, how the rivers came about, and how the massive animals like, the elephants and the lions and the horses, these are very big animals, right? So apparently, these animals also have their own universe. Fascinating, interesting, but truth. There they are ruling. You've seen all these mythical creatures, half human, half lion, half varaha, and half human, and half fish. They are existing actually in their own universes. And Lord Vishnu has come as their avatar even to earth. And from them, all these things were created. Ashwas are horses. Horses, you have wings and they can fly. Even elephants have wings. Airavata also can fly. They are white in color, apparently. So Lord is explaining Uchai Shrava, the fundamental ancestral horse. So they have intelligence. They also can meditate and find God in their world. For some time, they also have to go through the pain of a physical world like Earth. And they graduate from here, and they have two options: either they become a human and come here, and they go into other worlds, or they continue to go to their world and they practice their stuff in their universe and go to their heaven. So this is all very interesting, but we'll not go into the depths. Ashwanam, Vidhi Mam Amrita Udbhavam. The Ucheshava came out, the ancestral horse came out from Amrit during Airavatam Gajendranam. The Indra of the Gajas are Airavata. I am Airavata himself. Naranam cha Naradipam. The king of the emperor is the king, Nara Adi. Beginning of Naras, that is me. Ayudanam ham Vajram. Amongst the Ayudas, I am Vajra. Vajra is using light, electricity, thunderbolt itself. So that's the most powerful weapon, more powerful than any missile or anything. Denu namasmi Kamaduk. Denus are cows, even they have their own universe. Kamaduk is the fundamental mother. And, undeveloped beings are on our earth. So everything, the Sarpas, their original world is Nagalok. So all this, even Kamadhenu lives in her world. For some time she was here when the rishis were there, but then she went back. Prajanaschasmi Kandarpa, she could speak also. They all speak. Prajanaschasmi Kandarpa. Prajana is delivery, gods who give fruit. So that is Kandarpa is Kamadev, Sarpanamasmi Vasuki. Sarpas are beings which move like an S shape. Nagas apparently move in a straight direction. That is why Nagas are different from Sarpas fundamentally. Nagas are more evolved than Sarpas. Nagas can speak, they have their own universe. Sarpas are supposed to, this is mentioned in the Mahabharata, that this is, Sarpas are the more crude form of Nagas, just like present day elephants are the crude form of the entire universe of elephants and Airavata and such kind of beings. Anantaschasmi Naganam, that's why Nagas are different. He's Ananta. I am Varuno Yadasamaham. Varuna of the waters. Yadasamaham. Of the waters, I am Varuna. Varuna Dev is the god of waters. Aham Pitranam Aryamaschasmi. Aryama is supposed to be the king of the Pitras in Bhuvarloka. So when we die and go, we go to our Pitras, ancestors, ancestral worship, you've heard. But if you want to go higher, you have to do sadhana. Aryama is the king there, takes care of everything. That's also a beautiful world. Not as beautiful as heaven, and beyond that, the heaven is the freer worlds like Maharloka. Cha asmi yama samyamatam aham. Samyamata is to keep everything in control, samyama. So I am Yama. He keeps everything in the control. Because of fear of Yama, people won't make mistakes. Prahladash asmi daitya. Daityas, Danavas, Rakshasas are parts of Asuras. So Daityas are people who are extremely large. They were called the Nephilim in the Bible, the book of Enoch. So Prahlad Ashtasmi, Prahlada, Bali Chakravarti's grandfather. He was Prahlada, and his father was, who he was, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlada was a Daitya. He was extremely tall, massive beings. So there might be a word for them also. I am Prahlada, good Daityas. Kala Kalayatamaham. So Kala is time itself. What does it do? It Kalayata. Kalayata means keeps everything under check. So we know our time is coming, so to finish this work, to finish the class, to get up, sleep. So it keeps everything under check. That is Kalayatam. So keeping everything under check. Mriganam cha Mrigendroham. Of all the Mrigas, beings, I am Mriga Indra. That is, lion is considered the king. Vainateyascha Pakshana. Vainateya is the name of Garuda. Vainateya. So Pakshi is Karaja Garuda. Pavana Pavatamasmi. Jashanam Makaraschasmi. Rama Shastra Bratava. Pavana Pavatamasmi. Wind is the most purifying thing, very powerful, it moves very fast. It cleanses everything. So internally as well as externally. So I am the wind itself, not wind god, wind. That is Marut, Marichi, wind god. Here, wind itself, the Mahabhuta. Then Rama Shastra Bratamaham. Lord is coming from macrocosmic to little more, minute, particular to earth. Rama, amongst the people who ever wielded the weapon, Rama was the greatest. I was him. Jashanam Makarascha Asmi. Jashanam again being beings of the waters, not like the Sagara and all that, but this is water creatures. I am the Makara. Makara people describe it as crocodile, but some people say it is not the crocodile. It is something like those other animals that you had. Yali, you've heard of Yali? Comes in the Mahabharata. Then you have the Kunjara. Then you have the Sharaba. Then, of course, Narasimha, everyone knows because it's Lord's Vahana. So you can Google all this Yali, Kunjara, Sharaba, and all this. Like that, Makara is one of them. We don't know what it is actually. People say it is more like, half, what is that called? That big fish, that Timingila, the whale. Yeah. So, whale with the snout of a crocodile. That is how it's depicted in temple walls. If you go to ancient temples, that is supposed to be a makara. So makara is normally, Varuna Deva rides a makara. Sometimes they show Ganga also riding a makara. Very big animal. Cha asmi, Shrotasam asmi, Janavi. So Shrota is movement, moving the water bodies, and Janavi, Ganges. She's the most beautiful. Sarganam Adirantascha Madhyam cha Aham Arjuna Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam Vada Pravadatamah. Sarga means creation. We've understood that word, right? Pralaya Sarga. In Sarga, whatever is created by me only. In the Adi, Anta, Madhyam. Everything of creation is me only. Basically, we are the reflection of God, right? Madhyam cha eva Arjuna. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. So, of all the greatest knowledges that we may possess, Adhyatma Vidya is the greatest of sciences. And I am that. Adi Atma ko janna is Adhyatma. हमारा आत्मा कौन है? The reflection of Brahma, right? तो वो क्या है चीज? उसको समझते ही we will know that we are all united in consciousness. We are all from the same consciousness. So that is the highest science. And the moment you attain that realization, naturally the realization of all creation comes. All creation comes, whether it is science or mathematics or physics. So people always ask things like, how did our ancient rishis know about this, know about that? In the Surya Siddhanta, how did they talk about the distance of the sun? How did the Ayurveda know so much about the body? How did they know so many viruses? They did not do any external activity. They went inside and united with the soul consciousness and they knew the truth. That's all. Very simple. You and I can do it. It's mentioned in the Vibhuti Pada in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. How to do it, he says. This is the technique is called samyama. So when you attain that state of samyama, you can attain all knowledge. So all that you have to do is attain samyama and physics. And in 12 years, you will know exactly everything about physics beyond Einstein. So the external method is very slow. The Hindu sage knew it. So they made the entire civilization internal focused. And that's how India was so prosperous. India was so perfect and full of harmony and peace in ancient times. And it's going to come back. So, Adhyatma Vidya, through that everything comes. Vada Pravadata Aham. So, the person who can win a logical argument, Vada, I am the winner. I give him that capability to win. Aksharanam Akara Asmi. Aksharas are Akara. A is the fundamental Akshara in all the 50 letters, right? Like if you want to write Ka, it's always written Ka plus A is Ka. Ya plus A is Ya. So A is fundamental. It is the foundation on which all other sounds are built. Even the baby will easily say A at the beginning. So the Lord is the beginning in sounds. Dvandva Samasikasya cha. So samasas are sandhis. We learn sandhi and samasa in school when we're learning any language, like colloquial language. Sandhi and samasa are basically when you join two words, right? It's like a sandhi. So that sandhi will, what happens? The first part of the first word loses the last part, and the second word loses the first part. So they become one word. So there are so many Sandhis we've learned like that. So this is samasa. So there are so many types of sandhis where ya plus a becomes ye, like that. No, you become they join and they become one. But apparently, dvandva samasa is something where both words don't lose their power. For example, Sita Ram or Radha Krishna, like that. So they are kept complete. So dvandva samasa is supposed to be a very powerful samasa. It shows complete power of both the words. So Lord says, I am that samasa. And that's why all God's names are normally written in dvandva samasa. Ahameva akshaya kala dataham vishvato mukham. Akshaya kala. Some kshaya is that which gets destroyed. That time which never gets destroyed. That is akshaya kala. Data aham vishvato mukha. Vishwatamukha is basically the name given to the creator Brahma, metaphor, because Brahma apparently had 5 heads, right? 4 on all sides, 1 on top. Meaning to say that Brahma knows everything in creation until Lord Shiva cut off the top part, I believe. That is a Puranic story. But then he looks on all sides. And that same iconography is there in Buddhism. They call him Avalokiteshvara, one who sees everything. So that is me. I can see everything. Mrityu sarva hara cha aham. Through death, everything gets destroyed. Haran ho jata hai. I am that. Udbhava, origin, bhavishya, kirti, bhavishyata. Lord says, I am the death. I am the beginning. And I am the future of everything. Now we know because Lord's consciousness is creating everything, right? Then Lord says something very interesting. He says, of the qualities of femininity is Prakriti, right? In Prakriti, mother has very powerful Prakriti qualities like Kirti. She brings fame, prosperity, success. She the Vak Siddhi, the capability of speech. Women are very good orators. They speak very beautifully. Very few men have that capability. Okay, speech. Then Smriti is memory. Medha, Lord says even they have Medha, very high intelligence. Kriti is the capability of fortitude, no? Capability of holding on to something, constantly keeping on that willpower. And so all these qualities. And I give them that quality. So basically, Prakriti's qualities. That is why Hinduism is the only religion in the world where women are given so much respect. And because of the respect given to women, every household is very happy, and hence the nation is very prosperous. It is said in the Puranas when the respect and love given to the women reduces, that country, that religion, that civilization will perish. History is mute witness. Whenever India started throwing her people into the fire, into the fire of the dead husband, that is when the great Kali Yuga was happening. When we lost all our wealth, we got conquered by whom? By the Mughals and the foreigners. And after all that stopped, you see how the prosperity gradually started increasing. So it is a real fact. So that's the power. Kirti Shri Vaksha. That's why when a daughter is born, they say, Pehli beti dhan ki peti. So apparently the family becomes extremely wealthy. So the more the number of female come into the family, the wife comes in, the husband becomes very successful and rich. And then the first child comes, the husband becomes even more famous, even more successful. The second child comes again. So the number of women, and the more the number of women, more the number of prosperity. Okay. So now we will. Oh, this also Didi did, no? Brihat Sama Tata Samna Gayatri Chandasam Aham. Brihat Sama Tata Samna. Samaveda is Samaveda are the hymns of Samaveda, you know that. There's something called as Brihat Sama, one of the biggest hymns. Samaveda is generally sang. It's very beautiful and melodious. Google and you'll hear Samaveda chanting is very, very melodious. It's a kind of a, only praise. So Samaveda basically describes yajnas and also how to sing Lord's chants and glories. So that is I am Brihad in that. And how in poets write poetic meters, I am that meter called Gayatri. There's so many meters. Of the 12 months of the Hindu calendar, I am Margashirsha. Margashirsha comes somewhere between Jan, February, and I think that this Margashirsha time is when Shivratri is held. And amongst the seasons, Arutunam Kusumaka. Kusuma means flower. Flower comes Vasanta Ritu. Then Lord says, Dhyutam Chalayatam Asmi, Tejas Tejasvinamaham, Jayosmi Vyavasayosmi, Sattam Sattvatamaham. There are 6 more, we'll finish it. Didi, can you just chant from 36 to 42?
Okay, Didi. द्यूतं छलेदामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्त्वं सत्त्ववदामहं ऋषीणां वासुदेवोऽस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जयः मुनीनामप्यहं व्यासः कवीनामुशना कविः दण्डो दमेदामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जिगीषदां मौनं चैवास्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवदामहं यच्छापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहमर्जुन न तदस्ति विना यत्सात् मया भूतं चराचरं नान्दोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परं तव एष एषदुद्देशतः प्रोक्तः विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया यत् यत् विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा तत्तद्देवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम् अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्याहमिदं कृष्णम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्.
Thank you, Didi. We'll finish this 6. We have only 2 minutes, but we'll finish it up. I did the revision a little lengthier because it told you some stories. So, so Lord finally completes. What he says is, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. Here talks about even the fact that he is tamas himself, because Sattva Rajas tamas is his reflection only. Tamas is highly far away reflected into darkness. Sattva is very close reflection. So Dyuta is gambling, Chalayatam Asmi. Whoever do all this cheating and all in gambling, that also I only, that my reflection only. Tejas Tejasvinamaham. Charismatic people, their beauty and charisma is also from me. Jaya Asmi Vyavasayam Asmi. Vyavasaya is to work very hard with very strong willpower. That is Vyavasaya. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. When you start having a strong resolve, typically the buddhi is focused on something one, some one ekatattva abhyasa. So Vyavasayatmika buddhi will not have bahu shaka hi anantascha. Buddhayo avyavasayinam. So when you have a resolve, typically it is on one resolve. So with self-realization like that. So that's Vyavasaya. So Jaya comes to the people who have one resolve. That's why Guruji always says, concentrate on one thing at a time. If it's meditation, that 1 hour, it should be only meditation. It should not be cooking. It should not be going to office. If you're going to office, focus completely on your office work. Like that. So have that Vyavasaya. And you get victory then. Sattvam, Sattvatamaham. Anything that's very sattvic, I am that Sattva. Vrishninam Vasudevosmi. Now look at this very clearly. He identifies with Krishna as a separate being. He is now saying amongst the people who had the ancestor as Vrishni, that is the dynasty of Vrishni, I am Krishna. And amongst the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So Lord is saying he is aware that this being called Krishna is manifesting my complete glory or Purna Avatar. So, although many people have many contentions, apparently they have mentioned very clearly in the scriptures. Parvans Yogananda also mentions this. No being comes to earth for the first time as an avatar. They have to go through, this is the law of Brahma, they have to go through, grow through all the travails of being a normal human being, struggle, attain the self-realization, come back again and again, and then only they get to become a Purna avatar. So Bhagavan Krishna has been a normal human like me and you once upon a time, maybe in some other kalpa or maybe before 20th kalpas. We don't know which kalpa, which manvantra. He was like you and me once upon a time, but he kept on and on and on. So then Brahma starts manifesting through him, whether it's Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, Rama, all that, through that being he manifests. And finally, Brahma manifests his complete power, opulence, grandeur, and glory, and Karishma and Tejas. It becomes a Purna avatar with all the 26 Maha qualities. So that is Bhagwan Krishna. So then Lord says, I am Ved Vyas amongst all the sages. Kavinam Ushana. Kavi means wise people. Ushana is Shukracharya. Now, very fascinating, he mentions Brihaspati and Ushana both. Shukracharya is the wise preceptor or the guru of the gods. Hmm? So he is a great wise man. Wise man, rather, he's a very intelligent man. Apparently, there's a nice Puranic story which says that when Brihaspati and Shukracharya both were there, Shukracharya was a very, very brilliant. I think I'm not too sure, but he's the son of Bhrigu Maharshi himself. One of them is the son of Bhrigu Maharshi. So they're also related to some connections, both Brihaspati
Maybe
and
wasn't
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya the guru of the demons?
Yeah,
No?
he is. Yeah, he is the good. So he is the son of Bhrigu Maharshi or Atri or one of those Saptarshis. Both of them. So when the Devas had to choose amongst Shukracharya and the Brihaspati, both were there. And the Devas knew Brihaspati is not as intelligent as Shukracharya, but he was extremely sattvic, extremely pure and good. So they gave importance to purity and goodness over intelligence. Shukracharya was very, very brilliant, extremely intelligent. He was so sure that he's going to be chosen as the guru of the Devas. So, and obviously, since he was left over, the Rakshasas took him in as the guru, and he possesses that anger on the Devas to this day, and he helped the Rakshasas and the demons fight against the Devas with all the weapons and all the mantras and all immortality and everything. The Mrita Sanjeevani was a mantra which was divined by Shukracharya. The Devas learnt it later, not Brihaspati. Also, the greatest weapons that any of the people possess among it is with the Rakshasas. The evil possesses greater weapons. Good always possesses value and rhythm. As they say, even in this world, the West possesses weapons, but India and the East possesses wisdom. So we should see in the natural course of events, whether it is the wisdom or the weapons, what will win. So this is the constant drama of Brahma. Dando Damayatam Asmi. Danda is when we see a stick, we get scared. Damayatam is to keep under discipline. Asmi, I am that. Nitir Asmi Jigishatam. Jigishatam is somebody is seeking something, basically success, happiness, wealth, wisdom, anything seeking. So that I am that they struggle. That goodness when you struggle, you will find success. So God has given the answer. It's not the weapon, but it's wisdom which wins. So that if you follow the proper niti, your success will be eternal. Otherwise, it's short-lived. Maunam cha eva aham asmi gohyanam. Gohya is secret and mauna is silence. You want to keep a secret, it will be silent, right? So silence. Even silence I am. Jnananam jnanavatamaham. Out of all the wise people, I am the knowledge. Then Lord says, Yachapi, Yatacha api sarva bhutanam. Amongst all the bhutas, Bijam tat aham Arjuna. I am the seed. Anything that comes across is Brahma's reflection only. Natat asti vina yatsya mayatsat maya bhutam chara acharam. Chara acharam is or anything that moves, anything in creation. Beyond me, natat asti. Natat asti. Anything is not there. Vina, without me. Mere bina. Like that. Yet syat. Syat is what which has come into existence. Without me, nothing can come into existence. Then Lord says, Na anta asti mama divyanam. There is no end to my divya. He atma vibhutaya. These vibhutis, these creations, there's no end to it. I've just told you what is relevant to earth. Parantapa, Arjuna, who conquers enemies. Eshatu uddeshatah proktah. Whatever I've told you are only a little bit, which is uddesha is with a specific goal in mind. That is why I said in the beginning, Lord has a goal. What? Because Arjuna is now having a limited consciousness of being an earth being. He might have been a Prajapati in his past life, but that's all covered when we come here. We don't know what we were in our past life. We might have been a Deva, might have been a wise soul or whatever. But that's covered. But according to our bhava in our past life, we continue the same in this life. So Arjuna doesn't remember what he was, but he is a bhakta already because he has carried that. The Uddesha is what? To tell him about the glory with respect to this creation. So what he understands. That's why Surya, Chandra, Vasava, and all those. Then Lord says, Vibhute Vistaro Maya. By me, I have told you as much as I could expand. Then Lord says, Yatyat Vibhuti Mat Sattvam. Wherever Yatyat, Jojo, Yatyat, Vibhuti, anything is opulent, splendor, successful, Sattvam filled with goodness, Shrimat also full of Shri and wealth and opulence. Urjitam is Urja is glorious, radiant, it's coming out. Eva va, whatever is coming out like that, tat tat eva avagachat. So remember, all that is coming from where? Tvam, you should know by what? Mama teja amsha sambhavam. It is my radiance which is coming out of them. That is why Gurudev says, if you want success, if you want wealth, if you want beauty, if you want whatever you want, meditate first. Sit in silence, put your eyes in Kutastha, and try to unite that your ego consciousness, the soul consciousness. When you come, yoga, karma, sukha, kaushalam will happen naturally, and you come out. You will do your karma very beautifully. You will do it wonderfully, whatever you are supposed to do. So whatever is beautiful, glorious comes from Brahma only. Then Lord says this very cryptic statement. It's very simple. It's like saying enough of all this intellect, Arjuna. It's of no use for you. Atava bahuna etena. Or what, all this bahuna, so many etena, all these. Kim, what jnatena tava Arjuna? Why do you want to have knowledge of all this, Arjuna? Vishtabhya aham. So remember this, he says, Lord, aham, I am spread out across. Vistabhya ahami. Idam kritsnam, completely, entirely myself. All this is. Eka anshena stito jagat. Jagat is jagatyamiti jagat. Something that moves constantly is jagat. Amsha is a little, Amsha is a little, Amsha is not even an anga. Anga is some bigger anga, like a finger is an anga, or a palm is an anga, or an eye is an anga. Meaning, but Amsha is something even more smaller. It's a little bit, tip of it. So he says it's a little tip of me, my, tejas or my power, which is manifesting your entire creation. Isn't that fascinating? This entire creation is just a tip, some little bit of Lord's power manifested. Not, he doesn't even use the word anga, or he uses the word amsha. Amsha is a very small fragment of Lord's being. So if Lord is lying down, you would imagine if you are lying down, you could say one nail is the astral, physical, and the causal cosmos. That cosmos which we're trying to understand, Mana Buddhyam Chitta 24 Tattvas, Divine Mother, Virata Vishwa, that, this, Vasu, Vishnu, Shiva, Mother, Divine, everything is in that one nail of Sat Parabrahma, in one little nail. So that is how powerful Lord is. Where is you and me, though? We don't even know. So that is why Sar juk jata hai. And deep reverence, in deep surrender, everything stops. Everything stops. When we see this, when we hear this one, Vishtabhyahamidam Kritsnam Ekam Shena Stito Jagat. What you're fighting, Hindu, Muslim, Christian? What you're fighting, Allah, Bhagwan, Krishna? Who are you to even fight? Who are you to define God? You can't even define your own mind. It's all boiling down to that. What are you fighting of? It's crazily ununderstandable, unutterable. So the only thing you and I can offer, Lord, is our humble prostrations, our humble surrender. And that great Vidwan Arjuna is saying, Vishtabhyaham Madam Krishna, Ekam Shastha Atava Bahune Etena Atava Arjuna. He says, why do you want all this, Arjuna? Relax, no, don't have to learn all this. Come to me, I will take care of you. You want freedom? You want to know about all this? I'll touch you and I'll give you all this gyan. But come to me first. How beautiful, right? That is why the Gita is something else. This one, the last two shlokas. And it gives you those goosebumps. Let's take a moment of silence. Let's try to conceive in a Chidakasha, that Akasha, the space which is within ourselves, which is caused by Chaitanya, Chidakasha, the conscious space of consciousness within ourselves. It's vast. It's even bigger than the physical, astral, and causal universes created together. So our Chidakasha, let's try to conceive of our Brahma in that Chidakasha. In deep reverence and deep humility, we'll bow down to his eternal feet, infinite feet. And we say, Om Guru Narayaneti Samarpayami. I will